has halved since its peak late last year, hemorrhaging an eye-watering $2.2 trillion. And it's not just crypto geeks whose dreams have been shattered, but also ordinary mum and dad investors sucked in by the hype. The currency had gone mainstream. However, while many millionaires have become overnight paupers, cryptocurrency's true believers say, don't worry, the good times will return. The question is, who's brave enough to believe them? Alex Waters is a relative latecomer to the high-tech, hyped-up world of Bitcoin and blockchain. But 2 years ago, the 32-year-old entrepreneur from Perth was finally convinced by his mates that investing in cryptocurrency would be a cruisy ride to riches.
I actually had a friend that owned a couple of hundred Bitcoin back in 2011. So that was the first time I'd heard of Bitcoin, and I knew that there were some dodgy things happening with it. So, really didn't get involved at that point. But yeah, I've had a lot of friends make a lot of money in crypto over the last, 5 to 10 years.
So what was the turning point? When was it that you thought to yourself, okay, I'm jumping in?
I think it was just that fear of missing out. I didn't want to be left behind. That made me jump in, really.
So FOMO was your overriding inspiration.
Yeah, nothing too fantastic, just FOMO. Yeah, I'm a standard human being. I think that's how most of us operate. So.
Alex is an adrenaline junkie, and not only in his downtime. Building and selling a couple of real estate companies in his 20s, he's reaped the financial rewards. So when he jumped into crypto, he decided to go big. How much do you think you've put in cash-wise?
400K.
Wow, and what did it get to at its peak?
I've seen it go up and down, but at one point I definitely close to doubled my investment.
On the crypto roller coaster, the best of times can very quickly become the worst of times. Alex not only made a fortune, he also lost one. And what's that investment worth now?
I haven't looked at it in a couple of weeks. I've just been taking a break after everything happened.
It sounds like you've got PTSD.
Crypto obviously right now getting crushed.
Erasing more than $200 billion from the entire
Investors getting jolted by volatility rippling through the crypto
fearing
world.
they could lose it all.
And I don't know what in the world's going on, so I'm out no mas.
Alex was one of the tens of millions of casualties of last month's devastating cryptocurrency meltdown. Two of crypto's supposedly safest and most popular coins, Terra USD and its sister coin, Luna, went from hero to zero in a matter of hours, sparking a stampede in the wider market that wiped out more than $400 billion in one brutal day of bloodletting. For those of you thinking only nerds and numbskulls get caught up in crypto, well, I have to confess, I'm one of them too. I decided to dip my toes in the water because all my mates were raving about how well they were doing, and look, it was a bit of fun. Within just a few months, I'd more than doubled my money and was thinking, how good is this? That was, until the crash came. Within only a few hours, my portfolio flatlined and I just about lost the lot. I'm not alone though. More than 1 million Australians have invested in crypto, and the majority have now taken a pretty significant hit, particularly the mum and dad investors who joined at the peak of the hype last year. For the big players, the losses are simply staggering. If cryptocurrency was a casino, Sergei Serchenko would be one of its high rollers. The Russian-born millionaire is a self-confessed cryptomaniac who truly did hit the jackpot. What were the first words that came out of your mouth when you looked and saw the crash?
I go, oh fuck. I mean, when you start thinking, okay, I've got all this, I got everything, I got literally the world in my palm of my hand. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, there you go, whoop, the life and the market slaps you in the face.
So how was your mood on that day?
Usually in moments like this, I prefer to go to sleep. and hopefully that when I wake up, everything's back up to normal. So that was the mood on the day.
The last time I met Sergey was a year ago when he invited me on a tour of his family's suburban palace in Sydney. Sergey,
Oh, yeah, Tom.
good to see you.
Likewise.
Some sort of house you've got here.
We'll do what we can.
This is the house that Bitcoin built, right?
Some could say that, that's right. Let me show you around.
Off to. From humble beginnings, Sergey took out a loan to become one of the early investors in Bitcoin. It was a risky gamble that allowed him to trade his way to what he says was then a $100 million fortune. What a difference a year makes, Sergey.
Tell me about it, man.
How's your portfolio looking now compared to a year ago?
A lot slimmer. But, in my particular case, I've seen it all before.
Give me an idea. How much slimmer are we talking?
Like, put it this way, there was a week in February that I was a billionaire on paper, right? Well, let's say, like if we say, I don't know, a third of what it was or something like that.
I'm going to do some quick maths. You've lost $600 million.
On paper, yes.
Have you got ice in your veins?
No.
So you felt it then. You lost $600 million. What's the feeling on that day?
It's a bitch. But, I do believe with the whole of my heart that we're still at the very start of the journey.
For diehards like Sergey, crypto remains on course to be the very future of money. But right now, for some, that promise is on very shaky foundations.
There's been a noticeable loss of confidence in the market. Everyone's wondering what the next big disaster is going to be, what's going to take prices down further, and so on. It's not an investment strategy. It's not the future of money. It's sort of a game of hot potato, and you could be the loser.
How many times over the last few weeks have you had to say, hate to say I told you so? David Gerard wouldn't invest in digital currency if you paid him. An Aussie living in London, he's made a name for himself as a hard-boiled crypto skeptic and author who sees the entire industry as a dangerous cult.
Everyone loves the siren call of a number going up and they think, here's my chance. But get-rich-quick schemes never work. You can't get rich for free. You'd think that was obvious, but people keep hoping that there's a way out and that they'll get ahead. But it's always a false hope, and some people do great, but more people get absolutely wrecked.
Since their peak late last year, Bitcoin and the other major coins have lost half their value in a market that has hemorrhaged trillions. The reasons for the crash are complex. Rising inflation and hikes in interest rates, war in Ukraine, and crypto's relationship with a struggling stock market are all factors that have conspired to sap confidence. Cryptocurrencies, as it turns out, are a pretty ineffective hedge against inflation and not much of a safe haven in uncertain times. Is this crash the beginning of the end for cryptocurrency?
I think it's the middle of the end for cryptocurrency. I think the air went out of crypto. It's been leaking out over the last several months. This crash has really brought it home to people that, actually the music's going to stop sometime. The trouble with crypto is it's literally an unregulated market. Like, there's a few regulated exchanges in proper jurisdictions, like US, UK, Australia. The companies based there do have people looking at them. But the vast majority of trading is in unregulated offshore casinos. I would just call them casinos. The majority of volume, the way the market works, the way pricing is set, it all happens in a completely, literally unregulated environment.
And most vulnerable in this financial Wild West is a new wave of naive investors. It felt like in the last couple of years, cryptocurrency went from just being this thing for, entrepreneurial nerds to mum and dad investors. And You know, this really did go mainstream pretty quickly.
I think it really went mainstream in February 2021 when Elon Musk bought a pile of bitcoins for Tesla. Because, you know, he's famous, richest man in the world buys bitcoins. That is when you started hearing people in pubs talking about their Ethereum portfolio or whatever. But it's like betting on horses. You can make money betting on horses, but that doesn't make horses an investment. You know, some people are making a fortune in crypto. You can totally make a fortune in crypto. You have to be a better shark than the sharks who built the shark pool, because they will skin you and eat you.